intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly. With me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
Doing great, brother. Great to see you on this fine Monday evening. Man, coming off a nice Fight Night 91. I'm doing great, brother. We have some upsets to talk about. We got some highs, some lows, and everything in between, baby. Can't wait to dive in with you.
Let's go. Oh, man, UFC Vegas 91. It was exactly as promised. You know, I said it before. I'll say it again. We had UFC 300. We should feel blessed. And we can't have UFC 300 style cards without having cards like this that are going to be a little bit lackluster when it comes to the name value at the very least. But I digress. Oh, boy. We still had a little bit of fun, I would say. We still had a little bit of fun here. Nano, let's go ahead and jump right on into the first fight of the night. We had, let's see, it was Gabriel Benitez coming in against Jair Mahashate. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because I do have thoughts, as always. Nano, how did you react to this fight? Did you think the judges got it right? What were your thoughts?
I do appreciate the hospitality and you letting the guest, the co-host here, just a little old Jive Turkey, get the first crack at this awesome UFC Fight Night 91 here in the Apex. Gabriel Benitez coming out here with Cain Velasquez in his corner. I thought that was interesting. My one big takeaway to start the fight was, okay, he's got a dog there backing him up. Shout out Cain Velasquez, big fan of him. But yeah, man, what we did see from Gabriel Benitez was just some great moments. He was sticking in there, but unfortunately Mahashate was just the young buck, man. He was a little bit more hungry, and unfortunately, although you look at the scorecard and look at the total strikes, you would think that Gabriel Benitez won, and one of the judges did agree with you if you have that thought, but unfortunately, two of the others disagreed, and it is 2 out of 3 there, and you're just on the wrong side of the coin, unfortunately, and I probably would have been on that wrong side as well. Again, based on how I felt that Gabriel was finishing the fight, although Mahashate looked really good to start, he was big, strong, down to get the friction on. But Gabriel's a dog as well, man. And although he was the older cat, you would expect maybe someone that's older to not have that same gas tank or to not be able to keep up with these young bucks. Not the case. Gabriel Benitez looked good. Again, it was a split decision. Did win it on one of the cards. But Mahashate got it done. So I'm going to have to do a shate because I think I was taking Gabriel Benitez. So that's my breakdown, brother. Appreciate you letting me cue it off here. But I'm curious to hear your breakdown. You said you have a lot of thoughts, man. Talk to us now. Break it down.
Yeah, man, I feel like we have similar thoughts here. I also have to do a Mahashate myself because, you know, we were both on Gabriel Benitez. Shout out to the AKA boys. I mean, look, let's just call a spade here. There were 0 knockdowns in this fight. There were 0 takedowns in this fight. There were 0 takedowns attempted in this fight. And one guy clearly landed damn near 30 more shots. And the same amount in more significant shots. And he also threw less. Like the guy threw like almost 20 less strikes and landed almost 20 more. Come on. Again, you know I'm going to keep it no filter. I'm going to call a spade. And I mean, this is just the way it all boils down, guys. Gabriel Benitez won that fight. As much as I like Mahashate, and I know that he's the younger guy, you're trying to build him up. I mean, come on. He didn't win that fight, bud. He just did not win that fight.
I agree, brother. I agree. I mean, it was back and forth. There were some moments. And again, I felt like how he ended the fight was more indicative But I don't know, to play devil's advocate, is it just how he was responding to some of those punches? Was it just some of the crowd reactions? Was it even commentary? I wonder how much that plays into it. But it was, again, split. One judge saw it one way. So this almost makes me think I'd almost wish there were more judges involved, or if not that there'd be a fan vote or something like that. But man, I think we all saw it one way, and certainly the judges saw it another way.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. So with that being said, I don't think we need to play matchmaker for Mahashate or Benitez for that matter. The judges obviously got this one wrong. We won't spend much more time on it. Again, as I said, it was 121 to 97 in total strikes landed, as well as significant strikes landed in favor of Gabriel Benitez. So I digress. He landed at a 40% clip compared to a 31% clip as well. Come on, kids. Come on. We're going to call a spade here. So, yeah, it just simply is what it is. Moving into the next fight, we had a women's flyweight bout between Ivana Petrovic and Liang Na. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick shout out here. Shout out to Matty Betts. He threw down one of the largest bets, I believe he said on his channel. One of the largest bets that he's thrown in total units on Ivana Petrovic to get it done via sub. And she did in the very last round. So shout out to the kid. Great pick.
The buzzer beater. You gotta love it.
I know he parlayed it as well. So he did a single bet with that, and then he also did a parlay. The second hit on the parlay did not hit. You know, you hate to see it, but he was still up units. I think he was up like 1.5 units overall in the night. And you know, we love to see that. We love to see that. I was down units on my MMA bets, but I randomly decided to throw in some skrill on a NBA game. I threw a fifth of a unit and came up 6 units. So sometimes that's just the way it goes, kids. Moving. So yeah, Ivana Petrovic gets the submission in the buzzer beater fashion. Speaking of basketball references, thanks Nano for that layup there. So that was a round 3 submission, 1 minute and 29 seconds in. Nano, did you think that she was actually going to get the finish there, or how were you feeling?
Well, after that first round, I certainly felt like our girl Liang Na was saying, "Hell nah, you ain't gonna beat me today." But then by the end of it, she's saying, "Oh hell nah." Yeah, she started off hot, brother. That first round was great. You got to go for it, right? Landed one of her 2 takedown attempts, pretty similar in terms of the striking pedigree. But then, man, that second round, Ivana put it on her. Am I right? She put it on her. 67 landed total strikes to Liang's 18. Certainly seemed to gas out. Not sure what that was. Again, we were skeptical going into this, so we probably should have chased that Matty Betts. I would have went with the money line, certainly with Ivana, but to go with a submission or a finish, I think we certainly were on that same road. We didn't get to the same destination there, but shout out Matty Betts, man. He's professional. We leave it to them sometimes, but something to consider there. If you feel good about it, and again, some of the signs, Liang coming into it with some losses, had some question marks. But yeah, she looked strong, but it decelerated real quick there. Like the stocks just plummeted.
It happens. It happens, man. You hate to see it, and that's just the way that the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, sometimes as this game goes. So, yeah, man, it was a beautiful submission, though. It was an arm triangle choke. She made it look really nice. Ivana Petrovic, folks, she's one to watch. Am I going to play matchmaker for her? Not quite yet. I think she's fairly early in her career. I mean, what am I saying? She is really early in her career. She only has 8 professional fights. She just notched in her 7th win. This was one of those that we were talking about in the pre-fight show where we were saying, you know, it's crazy how somebody can have literally 4 times the amount of professional fights as another person and yet still be favored to win. There's obviously a reason that she was favored to win. And it's not just because she has incredible eyebrows on her Tapology picture, right? She also has an incredible submission game, folks. You should check it out. Whatever they do next for her, I do think that she has a lot of promise. I'd like to see her be a little bit more evenly matched in her next fight and be a little bit less of a favorite. See what happens when she has to, you know, kind of wear the battle a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see, right? So moving into the next one, we had James Yontop versus Chris Padilla. But before we break it down, me and Nano, we said, you know, we do have a shot to do from that first one. We bet on Gabriel Benitez. So
that's right. We're men of our word. But we did bet on Ivana as well, so we're one for one on the night. I'll take it.
Yeah, we're 1-1 right now. We're 1-1. As we like to say here, as we pour up our shots, a bet made, a debt paid. So
Absolutely.
Let's get it, brother.
Salud, and thank y'all for being here.
Cheers.
Come out.
Thank you for being here. Do a shot of water, whatever you drink,
or some twisted tea.
I'm out here trying to get Baja blasted, dude.
Legendary move. That's the best. Come on.
Baja Blast is literally like my top soda of all time, I think, and it's the best chaser in the whole wide world.
Oh, you could probably put anything in there, really. Now that I'm thinking about it,
you'd be hard pressed to argue with that. I promise you. So, all right, guys, moving into the next one. As I said, we have James Yontop coming in against Chris Padilla. You love to see ya. Man, I'm glad we didn't bet a shot on this one because I think neither of us were really feeling the taco, so to speak. But I had to go to the bell because the taco got it done on Saturday. What the hell? Chris Padilla, guys, he was definitely in a fight, and he was losing that fight. He was down a handful of strikes, and sometimes it doesn't really matter if you're down strikes, right? That's what we saw happen. He wrapped himself around his opponent, much like a tortilla around warm beef, to make a taco. Guys, he got that rear naked choke, sunk it in real nice, real deep, and real quick. 4 minutes and 33 seconds into the very first round. Padilla looked very, very slick, in my opinion, even though he was getting tagged a little bit on the feet. Once it got to the ground, my goodness. And 3 for 3 on takedowns, too. That's a fun fact. 100%. Nano, were you impressed by anything specifically by the taco man himself, Chris Padilla?
Yeah, brother. Everything you mentioned, definitely want to retweet all of that. Again, we were maybe disrespectful to the taco. I don't know why. I love my tacos. I think I should have just went with my gut there, literally, and went with the taco. But yeah, man, I think what impressed me was one of the things that you mentioned too that stood out was that quickness, his ability to be quick. Yes, he was getting tagged up, but some people need that. Some people need to wake up a little bit and say, okay, I'm in a fight here. Let me get to my bases. Let me use what I know I got and his quickness. And as you know, brother, speed kills. So he was able to quickly get to his opponent's back after getting multiple takedowns, tiring James Longtop out. And it wasn't long that Chris Padilla needed to be on top of Sir Longtop because he got his back, got the neck in there, and it was shortly. That's all she wrote. Hi. But yeah, our boy James, he's the man. He needs to watch his back, brother. You gotta be head on a swivel there. You gotta know he's there. It's unfortunate, a tough loss there, but no, I think it's just more so a testament to how skilled and talented this Chris Padilla, aka Taco, is. Taco time, baby.
Taco time, baby. You know what they say? You don't have to worry when you're on top. When you're on top, get it? Because his name is Yontop.
I like it.
No? Nothing? All right. I'll get you the next one.
It. We don't need to talk about it anymore.
Oh, we don't need to talk about it. We talk about it later.
Yes, we definitely talk about it later.
So, yeah, Chris Padilla, he's pretty early in his career. Do you have a name on the tip of your tongue as far as who you'd like to see this young man fight next?
Unfortunately not, brother. The lightweight division is completely stacked, right? And I think for someone like Chris Padilla, would love to see him get quickly back into the octagon. I don't think he took too much damage. Total of 19 strikes, so should be fine. But he's someone that has that wow factor, and why not get him back in there as soon as possible? He's probably a couple fights away from getting to like a main card status or getting into that relevancy. But if he can continue to get these type of quick stoppages, certainly, he's in the right direction. But I think this is just step one, in my opinion. I would like to see a little bit more. But hey, get him back in there as soon as possible. We have some big cards coming up. We got an International Fight Week. We got some pay-per-views. Fit him in somewhere, Dana. Let's go. I like this guy. And if he's getting finishes, why not?
Absolutely. Definitely fit him in somewhere, get him in where you can fit him in. There's definitely a laundry list of names that you could put in front of him. There's names that are far outside of the top 15 that I do think make sense, like a Jamie Malarkey, maybe a Brad Riddell, maybe even a Mark Bone Crusher Diakase. But I think the names that really make the most sense, in my opinion, would probably be somebody more to the tune of, I don't know, Neton Levy, maybe Drakkar Klose, or maybe the loser of Grant Dawson versus Joe Selecki. I think any of those names would be really, really fun ones for him. As you stated, the lightweight division is pretty much a freaking killer's row. There's just no getting around it. So, yeah, I think any of those names that are right outside of the top 40 or so, as far as lightweight rankings go, would make a lot of sense for that young man. You like any of those names, Nano?
You mentioned a few good ones. Jamie Malarkey's a good one, I think, or the winner, like you said, of the Joe Selecki fight coming up. I mean, man, a lot of good names to be thrown around. Again, this division is completely stacked. Plenty of conversations, a lot at stake, a lot of huge implications on any of these fighters, man. They got to get some good wins. And yet, like, a lot of implications. A lot of implications, brother. And anything can happen, man. I mean, you never know. You get matched up with the right guy. That guy can be a legend later down the road. Like, everything matters, man, in this league. So, man, I like a lot of the names you said, to be honest. Anybody, just get him back in there. Sign the contract. Send the name. Send location.
Send location. My goodness. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into this next one. This next one was a pretty interesting fight, in my opinion. We had Marnique Mann coming in against Ketlin Souza in a women's strawweight bout. Now, this is another one of those where, depending on how you judge the fight, depending on how you look at the fight, you could have, really scored this either way. Ketlin Souza landed 93 strikes. Her opponent landed 111. Ketlin Souza landed 80 significant strikes. Her opponent landed 31. Ketlin Souza got one takedown. Her opponent got two. And while they were on the mats going back and forth grappling, Marnique Mann only attempted one submission, while her opponent, Ketlin Souza, attempted zero. So, I don't think that this was a robbery by any means. I thought this was a very, very close fight. And if you ask me, gun to my head, like, if I'm a judge, I'm probably giving it to Ketlin anyways. But I'm curious, just playing devil's advocate. Like, did you have it for Ketlin, or could you see a scorecard going the other way?
Man, I felt like the eyeball test told me that Ketlin won. Ketlin Souza was looking very strong in there. She was landing some really hard punches. She had Marnique Mann back up against the wall multiple times, or the on fence, I should say, not the wall, but felt like a wall. She just had nowhere to go. Was up against it. And yeah, she looked like the stronger fighter. Looked like she was leading the dance more often. And like you said, able to defend some of those submissions, was able to just get into those favorable positions on the ground as well. And yeah, but I was surprised to see, like, looking back here and breaking it down, that Marnique Mann did actually out-punch her opponent. But again, it's not always just the numbers. I mean, if it were just that, judges aren't even needed, right? It's there's context. It's how hard they are or not. Are they significant? And again, it just felt like everything that Ketlin was throwing in those first few rounds, especially even in that second round where she was out, her opponent landed more punches than Ketlin. I still felt like the punches she was landing were more purposeful. And that weighs more, to me, right? Even if you're scoring it, maybe it's 1.5 for each of those significant punches, however you do it, or 2x, whatever, just a jab or a feinting soft body shot or whatever the case is there. Curious to hear your thoughts on that, though.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think when it comes to the striking, especially, like, if the numbers are even remotely close when it comes to total strikes, you got to go to significant strikes. 111 to 93, I would say, is remotely close. 31 to 80, not that close. You're talking a more than 2-to-1 spread here in favor of Ketlin Souza, who did have less overall strikes. But again, if she doubled up on what you were doing as far as significance, you got to reward that. Got to reward that, right? So, yeah, man. I mean, what else is there to say? I say you reward her. You give her the win, as they did. As far as what's next for her, again, she's one of these girls that is, just coming in as far as her UFC run. Who do you give her? I don't know, man. Maybe like a Polyana Viana would be a fun one. I think those two would probably match up pretty well against each other. at a decent place in their career trajectory wise as well. I don't know if you have any names on the tip of your tongue for Souza.
Man, I mean, the sky's the limit for her, right? I think the question is she ready for that top 15? And when I look at the rankings, it's hard to make a case against it, in my opinion. I like what I'm seeing from her. She looks strong, and she's probably ready for one of these girls, like a Miranda Maverick even. I'd love to see that at number 15 at stake. That has huge implications, as I like to say. And Miranda is coming off a win back in February, so maybe the timing can make sense for later this year, maybe in the upcoming fall or by the end of the year. Love to see
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. You love to hear that. Speaking of things you love to hear, Dontel Mace, folks. Dontel freaking Mace. Dontel Mace coming in against Caio Machado. Oh, man. It was a Dontel Mace fight, folks. I think if you really wanted to make easy money, you'd probably take the over. Dontel Mace, grindy guy, hard to finish. Grindy guy. Won't ever bet on him. Won't ever bet against him. Anytime I bet on him, I just tend to lose units, and brain cells and happiness. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to bet on a Dontel Mace fight. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it. It was a really, really close fight. I wouldn't have been mad if his opponent was given the decision. He landed more significant strikes. He landed more total strikes. But Dontel Mace got the knockdown, which arguably and ultimately won him the fight. So, guys, gals, everywhere in between, it was a Dontel Mace fight. I don't know what else there is to say. Maybe Nano can help me out here because I didn't even bet a shot against him, but I almost want to do one just because it was a Dontel Mace fight.
Yeah, man, I think you're just putting it the best way possible. I think you're setting me up for not success here because I want to say a lot of things, but I'm going to choose my words wisely. And I think the thing that we're hoping to see in a lot of these Dontel Mace fights is you go in, and first off, you see this guy. He's a behemoth of a man. You think, oh my goodness, people are made like that? Okay, wow. And then, once the fight actually kicks off, it leaves a little bit to be desired. You see some fun moments. You see some heavy hands. He does have that knockout capability. But if you're not getting that immediate knockout, what we ended up getting was 15 minutes of, for lack of a better word, I think just lackluster exchanges. These are two individuals that are over 250 pounds, and it's not pure muscle. Okay, they like their food, and that was kind of what we ended up seeing here. Caio Machado just very lackadaisical, even just their techniques. I mean, everything about it, it felt like we watched a very long bar fight that went a little too long, and they eventually just like, all right, I think we're good. Let's go get another beer. I don't know if that's maybe a good definition for our boy Dontel Mace, but again, it's one or the other. It's either, hey, we're getting the flash knockout. This dude's a beast. He's living up to the hype. Go feed him to the top guys, but then you see something like this last outing, and you think, man, 15 minutes, you land 70 punches. I mean, I think I can throw more. I'm not even going to say that, but some other people probably average more in one round. My goodness. So that was the lowest total punches we've covered thus far, and there was no submission attempts, no clinching, no takedowns, like you mentioned before. It's just two big guys just slowly moving.
It looked like two of the uncles at the family barbecue getting a little too carried away with the drinks, and getting after it. Getting a little bit too excited.
It's boys being boys.
They're sitting there, they're drinking, and all of a sudden one of them hears something he doesn't like, and in the back of his mind, he's all, well, let's go then, Chuck.
Bring it on,
that's
Weston.
what it looked like. Yeah. That's what it looked like. It looked like the two drunk uncles at the family barbecue, just going back and forth. Labored, bigger gentlemen. Again, I thought Caio probably did enough to win. I'm not going to play matchmaker for Dontel Mace. I don't care enough to. Heavyweight is it's fun for what it is, but outside of the top 10, it's a lot of fights like this last one. So moving ahead, this next one we were right on, folks. We had Austin Hubbard coming in, getting it done against Michel Figlak. Man, Austin Hubbard was definitely the guy to bet on. There's a reason that we bet on him here, folks. We had a feeling. We had a feeling he was going to get it done. I love me some Austin Hubbard. I think he's an absolute stud. He got the decision here. It was close. I'm not going to argue and say that it was a landslide victory here, but the takedowns definitely played the difference rather. 99 total strikes to 100, 88 significant strikes to 92, both in favor of Figlock, but 3 takedowns to 0 in favor of Austin Hubbard. Again, let's go. I feel like he went out there, he fought his butt off, and I mean, he's a good dude. If you watch The Ultimate Fighter, you saw that he's a good dude. He's a nice kid. He deserves a shot back in the UFC. And I mean, he's getting it in spades here, guys, and he's giving it all inside of the octagon here. Again, I thought he looked good. Do I think that he looks like, championship material? Maybe not, but that's not what it's all about. And just going to do a quick shout out here to Plushbox Streaming. I appreciate you. Not even into MMA, not even into conventional sports, as they said here in the chat. He said, following because you seem to have a good headspace outside of UFC. Do your thing. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. And I hope you have the best fucking week, man. Seriously. I seriously hope that you have the best week ever. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you have the best week ever. We appreciate you and happy to have you here in the chat. Nano, what were your thoughts on Hubbard getting it done over Figlock, man? Did you think it was going to play out like that?
Ooh-wee. Honestly, I knew it was going to be a war, but I didn't expect it to be that close. I mean, Austin Hubbard had to walk through the deep depths of the darkest places of the world, man, to go out there and get it done. It was like National Treasure or, going on this big goose egg chase that he had to do, man. All these side quests, all these missions. He had to show every bit of his mixed martial arts skills, in my opinion. That's why I mentioned those types of analogies, because it was exactly that. He had to use some takedowns. He had to use the clinch game, had to defend the takedown, had to go swing and bang a little bit, man. Bite down on that mouthpiece a little bit and let him know, hey, I'm here, baby. I'm a dog. Woof, woof. And that was exactly what happened, man. I mean, at times, Figlock certainly looked strong, and I was nervous for our boy Austin Hubbard. I don't know if it was just my rose-colored glasses here that I was looking through and hoping that Austin was going to win, and then he won, which was kind of what I was leaning towards. But I could honestly see, if I'm being subjective here, you could have made a case for our boy Figlock. Although I think the takedowns was a differentiator. Again, it's a mixed martial arts sport here, ladies and gentlemen. So if the striking is about the same, both guys had opportunities, they both won some rounds, they both won exchanges, you gotta split hairs somewhere. Hey, look at the takedown game, and that's our boy Austin Hubbard showing all the tools it takes to be relevant here and to be competitive at this, again, lightweight division, man. That's just absolutely stacked. I was looking at some of the names here. I'd love to see him get close to that top 15. I don't know if I'm ready to say he necessarily earned it. Maybe another win over a tough guy that's in a similar position as him. I mean, man, you can just start listing off anyone in that top 25, and as long as they don't have a dance partner, it probably makes sense. I'd love to see it, get him back in there once he gets a little healthy. I know he took a little bit of a beating here, but again, towards the end of the year, get Austin Hubbard back in there, man. Let's see him try to make a run here. There's no better time than now. Like you said, brother, he's someone you want to root for, has a great story. He's internal talent coming from the Ultimate Fighter series. Why not, man? Curious here if you have any names. I don't have anyone top of mind, but again, proud of our boy here. And Figlock, in my opinion, didn't lose any stock in my book here either.
I completely agree. I think that's probably the best way you could have summed that up, Nano. I feel like Figlock did not lose any fans here. If anything, he gained some, right? Both of these guys went out there, laid it all on the line. Really, really good fight. Again, not going to play matchmaker for Austin Hubbard just because he's so low kind of in the rankings as it is right now. And lightweight is a killer's row. We've already talked about it, right? So we'll go ahead and move into this next one, which went pretty much exactly as I thought it was going to go. Up until the knockout, I think. I thought Victor Henry was going to go out here and do Victor Henry things. Coming in against Ronnie Yaya, a.k.a. Hani Yaya, depending on, who you ask how to pronounce it. Victor Henry came out there and put it on him. He put it on him from the very beginning. It was about a 3-1 spread as far as the striking goes. Victor Henry, that is, outlanding him 150 to 56 strikes. Now, in significant strikes, you had 109 to 54, and you love to see it, man. You love to see it. Victor Henry just showing the absolute gamesmanship that he has, and the tenacity, the grit, everything you want to see in a UFC fighter or an MMA fighter in general. He did end up getting the KO in round 3, the very last round. Another buzzer beater, as we like to say here. Sound the air horns, folks. He got it done. 2 minutes and 36 seconds into that last round. Less than 2.5 minutes left to go. I mean, come on. He looked absolutely fantastic. Also, I think it's worth noting that he completely managed to negate 10 takedowns. He made Hani Yahya, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist, go 0 for 10 on takedowns. And that's what it looks like when you have great wrestling and you're a decent striker. Guys, Victor Henry is that guy. He's on his way up, and bantamweights should probably look out for La Mangosta. Nano, tell us how that Victor Henry fight made you feel.
Whew, man, made me feel real good, man. Made me feel real excited to be a fight fan. Made me feel real privileged to be here to talk with you about it, brother. Yeah, the reality is, man, our boy Hani Yahya, we knew going into this guy's a legend. He's a dog. He's been in there with the greats, and he showed every bit of heart, man. He fought his ass off that first round. He actually had more significant strikes than his opponent, the heavy favorite, the Victor Henry. But boy, oh boy, did Victor put on the gas those second and third rounds. That's the reason why there's 3 of them. And, man, there's a reason why he was the heavy favorite. This guy is extremely talented. And, yeah, that knockout, frankly, was pretty nuts. Well, he dropped him, too, in the second round, I believe, right? And he somehow recovered. Again, just showed how fucking tough.
Dustin Poirier-like recovery, man.
Oh, my God. I mean, dude, he one shot dropped. Could have easily been potentially called, but found a way to quickly recover, man. I mean, boy, oh, boy. He's a legend. He's a G. Again, another guy didn't lose a lot of stock in my book. But the reality is, when you get to a certain age, man, you got to hang him up. You're done. Go on your shield. You did good, okay? You did good, buddy. You can go home now. You can hang him up. So that'd be my advice. But you go out on your shield, live and die by it. And what a way to go out for a legend. But again, Victor Henry, man, making a name for himself again. Time after time here. Bantamweight division has somebody cooking up here, brother. I don't know do you think he's ready for the top 15? I mean, why not, right?
I think he is, man. I think he is. And I also think that he's somebody that has not been given an easy run by any means when it comes to his UFC tenure. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, in his UFC debut, right, in his first UFC fight, they fed him to Raoni Barcelos. Like, come on. By the way, he won that fight. It was on short notice. And he beat Raoni. And then they give him Rafael Assunção, and a pissed off Rafael Assunção. It's just not an easy outing at all, right? Tony Gravely, Javid Basharat, he was supposed to fight, and that got canceled. Then he ended up actually fighting him and, accidentally got groin kicked in the second round. So, I mean, I don't know if you remember, it looked like his nut exploded. The pain that he was in, it was bad. It was bad. I had secondhand pain. But yes, to answer your question, Nano, I definitely think he's ready for the top 15. I think Victor Henry, like I said, he's that guy. La Mangosta is someone that everybody in the bantamweight division should definitely be aware of and, quite frankly, be a little scared of. I mean, he's a beast. I think it's only a matter of time before he goes from headlining the prelims to being somewhere in the middle of the main card of these fight nights. Yeah, man, I love to see it. I thought the kid looked absolutely incredible. And yeah, if you can keep stringing them together, dude, why not? Did you have a name in the top 15 for him?
I was looking right now as to say if we are going to be in agreement there, then, I mean, there's a Ricky Simon out there. There's a Pedro Munoz potentially as well. Similar in age, similar in tenure. That'd be a fun one. Fun matchups as well. And you think about styles, man. But this guy, Victor Henry, man, when you actually put him up side by side by some of these guys, it's scary. He's pretty good. I like his odds. He's got a good game, brother. He's got a good game.
As much as I like both the people that you just named, like Pedro Munoz and Ricky Simon are both beatable for Victor Henry.
Yeah, man. I mean, his accolades or his statistics, for using UFC 5 references, they might be all above 85. Might be in the 90s.
He's a 4.5 star fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Make no mistake about it. Add him to the game. Add him to the game, EA.
You're here to hear first, ladies and gents. Come on.
So moving into this next one, man, we had the Dirty Bird versus the Doctor. We had Tim Means coming in against Uros, the Doctor Medic. Oh, man. I'll go ahead and pour up my shot because I was wrong. I bet on the Dirty Bird here. I thought Tim Means was going to be a wily vet. Uros, the Doctor Medic. As I said in the pre-fight breakdown here, guys, I did say he has never seen a decision. He has never seen even a third round. And, I thought Tim Means, being the wily veteran he is, being the Dirty Bird, I thought he was going to get dirty with it. I thought he was going to make it a nasty fight. And I thought he was going to drag the young man into deep waters. Well, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was wrong. That is just simply not even close to what happened. Not even a little bit close to what happened. Tim Means went out there. He landed, 10 strikes, which is only one less than his opponent. But the difference is it only took 11 strikes for Euros, the doctor medic, to essentially give that young man a dose of anesthesia, because he put him under. He put him to sleep. It was bad. It was disgustingly bad. It was a really nice uppercut. Caught him coming in. And, it was picture perfect. If you're a Tim Means fan, you hate to see it. If you're a martial arts fan, Tim Means fan or not, fuck, you love to see it, man. It was a nice one. It was a really nice one. I don't know if you have a shot poured up, if you're rolling with me here.
Always, brother. I got to pour it up, man, for our boy Dirty Bird.
For the Dirty Bird, man, who I'm going to take a page out of your book. It might be time.
Might be time, brother. No shame in that, bro. No shame in that. You're a beast. Have a lot of wins, a lot of fights in the octagon. But that's a testament, right? And it's one of those things, like, when you're watching it, and I think about, obviously, what happens, and, again, gets caught. But when you kind of go back and rewatch it again, you realize, man, he just never was able to get going, right? The Dirty Bird is at his best when it's muddied up, when it's a dirty fight. When he's in there, it's grungy, they're both bloody, and I could dig a little deeper than you. It's usually where he wins, right? But they just weren't able to get going, and it just felt like almost like watching like a sparring session, right? And one guy's just clearly more talented, younger, faster, stronger, everything, and just accidentally caught the old buck, man, changing levels, fell right in that uppercut, which is such a strong punch to get hit with. And that guy, Euros the medic, boy, he's strong for that division, and obviously with all the finishes he has, it goes to show. To get a win over a Tim Means like that, that's a testament, man. That's a statement, I should say. So with that being said, man, the welterweight division has a new guy on the rise, on the tip of the tongue, but I don't think he's ready for a top 15. I'm looking at 15 right now, being Kevin Holland. Although looking at Vicente Luque, he kind of irritated me last fight. Maybe throw him the medic so he can get right. He needs to see a doctor after that horrible loss to Joaquin Buckley. So maybe that's a good matchup right there. What are you thinking? Any other names stick out to you for Euros the medic? The doc?
I'm not mad at that. I'm definitely not mad at that. If we're looking at the, let's see here, he is a welterweight, yeah? If we're looking at the welterweight rankings, pretty wide open.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what man. God, the masochist in me, as a Magny fan, will say Neil Magny. I just think that's a really bad matchup for him, for Magny. I feel like he's on the back end. He's losing speed and power, and Euros he's got speed and spades. And the power's there too. That uppercut was just, oh man, it was like a piston. It was literally mechanical. Yeah, that was just a mechanical strike, dude. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, dude, give him a top 15. Give him a top 15. Why not?
Yeah.
It was super sexy. It was so sexy. Give that guy a top 15 welterweight opponent. Is Neil Magny too high up the ladder? He's sitting at number 12. Does he have something scheduled?
Let's see. But to answer your question, I don't think so. Especially when you look at the names there. Kevin Holland, Michael Page. I don't think I would feel any type of way if those two, and Vicente Luque as well, get skipped.
Oh, you know what? No, I got it. Give him Mike Malott.
Oh, coming off.
Give him Mike Malott. Mike Malott's coming off a loss to Neil Magny. Don't make Neil Magny fight down. He just had that big win.
True. And I hate to bust.
Mike's got a Mike has a bout scheduled.
Yep.
Yeah, I just realized. Sense. I remember Gilbert Urbina.
Yep.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
Yeah, but you're a Semitic, man. I think Vicente makes sense, bro.
I'm not mad at the Vicente Luque fight either. I actually think that's a really solid matchup, man. Shout out again to Plushbox Streaming, saying we're great commentators. I appreciate the hell out of that.
Thank you.
That made my night. That made my whole day. You're a great commenter. We appreciate you. And I did sub to your YouTube and Twitch. Make sure you guys drop a sub over there as well. It is at Plushbox Streaming. My gosh, I got tongue-tied there for a second. So moving into the next one here, guys. Got to close out of some of these extra tabs here. I'm getting too excited talking about these potential next fight matchups. Oh man, Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. Man. David Onama and Jonathan Pierce. That was a fun match. I'm curious to hear who you thought won that fight. Did the judges get it right?
Man, honestly, I think so. I had to think about it for a second, but I think so. The thing with Jonathan Pierce, and it was interesting watching the fight, it just felt like he really couldn't get his rhythm early on. And it felt like the speed advantage was obvious for our boy David Onama. He's fast. He did get taken down, but our boy JP just wasn't able to do as much as I would have liked to have seen him do in the sense of just like damage. He did also get stuffed on 4 other takedowns to get to that one. And that was all in the first round. Now you go to the second round. He did land 3 of those takedowns. He even threw up a submission attempt. But what did David Onama do? He landed 3 reversals of his own. Was able to get out of those positions. Looked like he was able to, at least in my opinion, weather the storm early on there. I felt like David won the first round. Second round, you could probably give it to JP for sure. And then the last round there, although it was really close, seeing JP get his takedown stuff as often as he did, like, I almost feel like, yes, he landed 1 takedown, but I'm going to score 5 to our boy David Onama. Like, he was preventing you from getting to that point. So with that in mind, my scoring is maybe a little off, but I was watching it, and I just felt like David was piecing him up on the feet. It felt like JP was getting a little desperate on some of those shots, which, again, like, it's all context. You look at it, you think, oh, man, he was just so busy. He's like Marab in there. It's like, no, it was more desperado, and, like, a lot of them got stuffed. It wasn't, like, this, like, onslaught of pressure. It was at times when he wasn't able to figure out on the feet, or he just was almost too far and tried to extend it. I don't know. I'm getting off track here, but again, I just didn't think they were clean takedown attempts, and I would score them in favor of our boy Dio, aka David Onama. Great win by our boy. Let's go.
Well, I love that you agreed. But crazy thing here, you and me might be fighting. I don't know, because I disagree, bud. I think Jonathan Pierce actually did enough to win this fight. I'm going to tell you why. Obviously, I'm not just going to give you a here's what I think without giving you the reason I feel that way. So we'll break it down by round for you folks listening here. And again, if you are tuning in right now live to the video version, we really appreciate it. If you are listening at a later date to the audio version, we really appreciate it. Either way, we appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you guys and gals. So moving into the next thing here, round 1, Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama. David Onama obviously landed the higher clip of accuracy because he threw far less strikes, right? He threw 29 strikes, landed 18. Our guy Jonathan Pierce threw 41 and landed 15. All 15 of those strikes were considered significant. Only 14 of Onama's were considered significant. Also, he did go 1 for 5 on takedowns, as Nano said, which you would score that for him. That's fine. That's fine. But then he also had more control time, even though it was only by a second. So let's negate that. Let's negate the takedowns. He still landed more significant strikes. So if we're going to significant strikes, he won that round. Let's go to round 2. A little bit easier to cut down the center here, guys. 3 for 3 on takedowns, Nano. I don't know if you know that. Round 2, 3 for 3 on takedowns. 3 minutes and 16 seconds of control time here. Okay? 3 minutes and 16 seconds. That's a lot. In a 5-minute round? My guy, that's a lot. His opponent only got 36 seconds in that round. Let's go to the strikes here, shall we? Total strikes, 29-6. Total significant strikes, 14-5. Everything in favor of Pierce here, guys. That might even be a 10-8, my guy. And then you go down to round 3. And yeah, David Onama won round 3. I'm not going to try and fake it. You're muted.
Oh, shit. I ain't going front. I ain't going front.
I ain't going to front. I said drop it, cuz. The line.
Drop it, cuz.
Too fast, too furious.
Shut up, Paul Walker, bro. That was legendary.
I said drop it, cuz.
I said drop it, cuz.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, if you slice it across the entirety of the fight, I just thought Jonathan Pierce did more. It maybe didn't look like it because he wasn't headhunting, but I mean, he was going across all layers here. 64% to the head, 22% to the body, 12% to the leg. He was landing at will when he wanted to. He outlanded his opponent in 2 out of the 3 rounds. I mean, the only thing his opponent did better is clinch and distance striking. But shout out David Onama. He got it done, guys. He got it done.
It was then unanimous too. Like JP didn't get a single decision.
That's what was confusing to me. I don't understand how it was a unanimous decision. That's what was crazy to me, bro.
That does feel pretty nuts. Because it was back and forth.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. So yeah, man, do you have a name on the tip of your tongue for young Onama?
Oh boy, D.O.? I don't think so. I think I'd like to see a little bit more there. Again, he might have potentially almost lost that one, right? But I guess maybe if you're going to look at it in the way of, okay, well, maybe if that was Jonathan Pierce, maybe we would be thinking differently. Maybe we would say, hey, let's launch him to the top. Maybe he is ready. So does David Onama steal some of that hype, I suppose? I don't know if I'm going to use that logic here. I think, again, I want to see a little bit more from our boy Onama. And this featherweight division, another stacked one, man. I mean, when you look at the list here again, I love to ask, is he ready for a top 15 guy? I just don't know. I mean, Diego Lopez just got in there at 14. It's like, see on these guys' level, Sadiq as well. Like that, I think I still need to see. I need one more question to be answered. I think one more tough opponent can help me feel more comfortable saying, okay, this will be a competitive match with one of these top 15 guys. You can throw them in there, but I mean, again, Diego Lopez, Sadiq, these guys are savages. So I think I want to see a little bit more from our guy Onama. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. I'd like to see more from Onama before we play matchmaker for him. I also don't want to see him jump into the top 15 right away. Jonathan Pierce was kind of a great litmus test, in my opinion. He kind of failed that litmus test, if we're talking real talk here, guys. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I feel like he's not quite ready for the top 15. He needs at least one more.
Yeah, agreed.
But he is a bit of a dog.
Oh, he's a dog.
He is a bit of a dog. Got that dog in him.
He's got some skills, man. He makes fast people look not fast.
He makes fast. Dude, I watched that movie yesterday.
Oh, nice. Great movie.
Yeah, I kid you not.
Boom.
Dude, y'all don't really want it now. Dude, such a good song. And also, like, people sleep on Nelly, bro. Great actor, great person, great rapper, great running back whenever they did the celebrity NFL games.
Yeah. I said
I don't know if you ever watched those on MTV, but I want to say he got MVP 2 years in a row.
He's a beast, bro. He's a beast.
He did his own stunts in that movie, bro. That was him. He actually ran out of those shoes. That wasn't even scripted. That wasn't even scripted. He just ran out of the shoes, bro. They ad-libbed that whole scene.
He kept it moving in the gravel, too, y'all. That's tough.
Is he any good? He's fast. He's so fast, he make other fast people not look fast.
Look not fast.
Look not fast. That movie's fantastic, bro.
Great.
Dude, that's like the most likable character. Some of the most likable characters in a film. And also some of the most unlikable characters in a film. They did a great job.
Joey Diaz was in there, too. I know it's all comics, so they shouldn't be likable. Get him going. So many good characters in that movie. Oh my gosh.
The dude with the cigarette, like the payoff with him burning the dude's arm. Like,
to get the
they had him smoking the cigarette the entire time. That's amazing.
The hard in safety. Yep.
You just don't get writing like that anymore, folks. You just don't get writing like that anymore these days. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you right now. Moving into the next one, guys. We had, I mean, speaking of football, my gosh, did we plan that segue? Did we plan that segue? It was insane. You guys, use guys and gals here. Come on. Austin Lane, he used to play for the NFL. He used to play the football there. And now he's fighting in the UFCs and he's fighting, is it Jonata Denise. Oh man. Denise. And the elbows and the fists and
and
everything else,
and the no wrestling,
wrestling, no grappling game. Just yeah, man. I mean, he got taken down that first round. I thought wasn't it the first round he got taken down, right? And I was like, oh, he's done. It's gonna be bad.
It was over. Yeah,
he's all those muscles, all that knockout power, just gonna get sapped. Call him Bob because he's sapped.
Oldest fight is Dominic's like, yep. He's like, if it stays here, it's gonna be a long night for him. And then he like catches himself. He's like, if it stays here. He's like,
if it stays here.
Yeah, you better
a fun drinking game for UFC Vegas 91. If you ever go back and rewatch that, don't know why you would, but if you do, fun drinking game. Do a shot every time Dominic Cruz says mirror match. You will be drunk by the halfway point. I promise you. I promise you. Even if you're like me and you can drink a lot, you will be drunk by the halfway point. I should have made a counter. Ding, ding, ding. Every time he says it. He said it so many times though. Yeah, Austin Lane, he did really, really good in the first round. And you know, the story of Austin Lane is if he's gonna either get or get got, and he's gonna hope that he gets more than he gets got though. But he got on Saturday though by Jonathan Diniz. I mean, it was just, what can you say? It was nasty. Diniz got it done. He made it look fairly easy. I mean, when he was standing, right? The fight lasted a total of 7 minutes and 12 seconds. And it was just, you know, a much love to see cameo from Left Hook Larry. Did you see the fight going any differently than that? I think we both were in agreement on this fight going into it.
Yeah, I think we both were leaning Jonathan. I was thinking that his boxing and kickboxing skills were going to be the X factor here, and they certainly were, right? But what I did not expect was for him to have no like wrestling game at all. Now, granted, and they commented about it a lot on the commentary. DC mentioned his wrestling, or the takedown attempt that Austin Lane attempted was essentially a just athletic football. The water boy just rushed.
Don't even say water boy, bro. It was the spear. We're talking about The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. You know who else was in that movie? The guy who fucking invented the spear, Bill Goldberg.
Goldberg, baby. That's right. Legend.
He hit him with the Goldberg, dude.
He did hit him with the Goldberg. That's a good example.
The worst thing about it is, like, not only did he like hit the spear, but his opponent did the hard sell WWE style. He's like, I'm just gonna give you this.
And then even Austin too. It's like. And I wish we had Mad Max around to talk from maybe some things that he could have done on the ground to get into favorable positions. He did start to get like this somewhat mounted position towards the very end of the round, but it was a little too late for my taste. It was like maybe 10 seconds left. You finally decide to get on top and start grounding and pounding. It's like, dude, you do that a minute ago, you might be out of here by now. But that's just maybe me harping on it. To be honest, it probably took a lot of energy for him. And like we saw, as soon as he stepped out on that second round, Austin had nothing else going for him, bro. It was, you would have thought it was the seventh quarter of the NFL by that point. You would have think it was on game 3 of the same day. This guy just had no gas. And then as soon as he got hit, and granted, this guy Jonathan must have some heavy hands. I mean, he's got a lot of first round finishes. But I laughed because it just, the left hand that connected, it was a right and then a left. Well, first off, even just to start, Jonathan just said, screw it, I'll take your best punch. Austin landed with a hard right hand right on Jonathan's chin, ate it, almost like swallowed it, took a step back and said, I'm going to hit you now. My turn, bow, hits him with it. Holy cow, okay. And then hits him again, gets up against the wall, but that's that last left hook, the kind of check hook that just goes to show the type of power that Jonathan can generate from short distance, because it didn't look that crazy, but it put Austin Lane out. I mean, I think someone in the crowd was saying timber as he was going down. Big old 6'6" of our boy Austin Lane there. Man, wow. Thank you.
That was good. Yeah, man. I mean, this guy Austin Lane, we've seen him get tagged before. I mean, he's one of Greg Hardy's only finishes in the UFC, or even in Dana White's Contender Series for that matter. So we've seen him get finished before. Outside of the UFC, he goes in, he gets a bunch of finishes. Good for him. Good on him. But we could do. This guy does hit hard, but we've seen that Austin Lane is fairly knockoutable, if that's a term. There's a reason he's 12-5, and there's also a reason Denise is 7-0. He's undefeated. So he also got the performance of the night bonus. Well deserved, definitely well deserved. One of the guys that got the performance of the night bonus we've already talked about as well, Urosh the Doctor Medic. Yeah, Denise, great job to this guy. What else is there to say other than what should be next for him, right? He is in the heavyweight division. Heavyweight is wide the heck open. As much as I hate to say it, I think you got to throw this guy right on into the top 15, right? I don't think a Rodrigo Nascimento, he has a fight coming up. Marcos Rogero de Lima or Alexander Romanov. I think either one of those guys would be a really fun fight and a great litmus test to see, is this guy just a hard hitter or is he a heavyweight contender?
I like it, brother. That's a great call out. I was actually quickly looking because it does look like a few of these guys do have opponents already tied up. Both of them that you mentioned, Alexander Romanov is facing off against Shelton Almeida, which seems very interesting to me personally. And then Rodrigo Nascimento is squaring off against our boy Derek Hot Balls Lewis coming up as well. So maybe that first name you mentioned, man, Marcos Rogeria de Lima, maybe he's tired of beating up Tafa Brothers and wants to go and chase a new challenge. Well, this is another Brazilian guy, man, coming out the works. Another guy native in your country, maybe you do this in one of those cards. I mean, well, UFC Brazil is coming up. Spoiler for this upcoming episode later this week. Stay tuned. But, yeah, man, I'd love to see him get a crack. The reason being the top 15 is a little eh. And this guy, I mean, 7 finishes, 7-0, with 7 finishes, knockouts, all in the first round like that or second round. And he's a decorated kickboxing champion. Like, yeah, let's see what this guy can do. Go ahead and throw him to the wolves, see if he can survive. Sink or swim, baby. And I mean that with all due respect. I think he's a dog, and I'd love to see it. No time to waste.
Absolutely no time to waste when it comes to this sport, man. You know you got to strike while the iron is hot. Otherwise, you will get forgot. That is simply the way it goes, folks. I didn't mean to rhyme. That just kind of came to me right there. Moving into the next one, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. I will tell you that while I was watching this on TV, boy was a bit confused. Okay, we had Karine Silva coming in against Ariane Lipski, the queen of violence. And I will pour a shot for this one. I did bet on the queen of violence. You hate to see it. But, you know, I was super confused.
I'm confused as well right now because you said Ariane Lipski. It's actually Ariana Da Silva.
No, yeah. It was Ariana Da Silva. So it was Da Silva versus Silva.
Yeah, like that could get
I was so confused.
I was so confused. I'm still confused. When did this happen?
I was seriously married? I was mid-tweet about to tweet and say who's getting fired at the UFC back end here for getting the names wrong and putting Da Silva instead of Lipski. I don't understand it, you guys. Can someone make it make sense? And then I looked it up, and I swear to you, as I'm Googling it to try and look it up, I hear one of the commentators make the comment on it. And yeah, I think it was maybe DC. He's like, Silva, he's like, Lipski, I mean Da Silva. And I'm like, do I know?
We caught that. Come again?
One more time now?
And then they kept referencing Da Silva. I'm like, dude, just say Ariana. Just go to the first names at this point.
Yeah.
Why are we
Ariane,
going to go through
this? Ariane,
Da
let's
Silva
go.
is going ahead and go on this move on the Silva, but Silva is going to want to go ahead and do
Da Silva
this
on Silva.
Yeah, Da Silva's
It's a Da Silva on Silva crime.
But now Silva's on Da Silva, but then Da Silva's going to Silva. It's like, okay, this is... I can confuse myself. I apologize, but that's how I felt watching the fight. It's just too many Da Silvas.
Dude, it felt very, very weird.
But congratulations, Ariana. I mean, obviously we should be celebrating. She got married.
Congratulations. Recently married.
Order, yes.
But at the same time,
Gotta say use Lipski, but Queen of Violence,
dude.
There's obviously now a King of Violence. I don't know who it is.
There's obviously a King of Violence.
Well, it's Mike Perry, but I don't think her last name's not Perry. So
we will definitely be talking about that at the cap of the show here. So come on, folks. Ariane Lipski, the Queen of Violence, aka Ariane Da Silva. Maybe it's Lipski Da Silva. I don't know. Either way, Karine Silva is the name that we're going to be talking about for some time to come here. The only thing bigger than her hair is her potential in the women's flyweight division, folks. Bad jokes aside, this girl has skills. Okay, as we say, she has the skills to pay the bills, folks. She might even have the skills to become a champion. Now, what she was able to go out there and do was, I mean, really stellar. Because I think we can face it and admit that Ariane Lipski, aka Ariane Da Silva, was dominating that first round. She handily won that first round, ran away with it. Okay. I honestly didn't know if her opponent was going to be able to come back from it. And if so, what was going to be the case? I don't know. I just thought Da Silva looked very nice in the first round. She outlanded her opponent in significant and total strikes. And even though her opponent got the one takedown, she almost matched her on control time. Minute 58 to minute 43. Now, going into the second round, it was a little bit more even kill, right? 23 to 22 total strikes, 10 to 9 significant strikes. And then Karine Silva, 3 minutes and 39 seconds of control time in a 5-minute round. Come on, folks. That is ridiculous dominance. And then we come into the last round, and now, I don't know, man. What do you do here? Do you give the win to the person that had 2 minutes of control time versus 23 seconds? Or do you give the win to the person that landed 47 strikes to 15? I give it to the person that outlanded on strikes. 47 to 15? Oh, and by the way, 26 to 13 on significant strikes. And it's not like Karine Silva threw any submission threats at all. She was just suffocating her on the top position in that third round. I still think Ariane won this fight. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, how did you judge that third round? Because that should have been the swing vote round.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. And honestly, I think although that third, is potentially the swing round, I think when I was watching the fight, I think you could have potentially made a case for Karine to have won the round. Reason being, again, I think when I was watching the fight, my eyeball test told me that Karine Silva was winning because of the takedowns. Now, I think she did what a good martial artist did, was she pivoted. Okay, she changed the game plan a little bit. She knew, okay, I know every fight starts on the feet here, and I'm going up against the Queen of Violence. You don't get that name by happenstance. It's because she goes out there and she's a violent striker. She's really, really strong and tough. So Karine realized early and often, like, as soon as we get in these exchanges, like, I'm not going to be able to get to where I need to get. And so I do think, although the strikes are certainly lopsided, especially towards the end there, when you break it out between those three exchanges, which were the three takedowns that Karine landed, it didn't feel as one-sided as it was. Again, and I guess ultimately it was nullified by those takedowns and the control time, which to me, I just felt like when I'm watching it, they were so slick. I mean, so well-timed. As soon as, Ariane would finish on that last, 3 or 4 or the leg kick or whatever it was, I mean, she was right. Karine Silva was right on her, like, was able to close distance really well, and then she was strong and had some really slick takedown moves. For our girl, Ariane just didn't have an answer for it. And again, Karine is strong. She showed it. That was where I was leaning towards her initially. But, man, to answer your question directly, with my eyeball test, I felt like it was probably 2-1 Karine just because of the takedowns and the control time. But I knew in my heart of hearts, like, if you're just looking at the strikes, Ariane beat her ass. Like, she was whooping her up. But again, it's mixed martial arts, right? Like, I guess because she was winning so much there, you're getting taken down. Now it's like, okay, now, yeah, she was able to reverse, get some control time of her own. But generally speaking, Silva just was able to kind of bully her a little bit in that realm. And the judges love that, man. Unfortunately, that's what it is, right? Unfortunately. That's how I feel. Again, I love Ariane, Queen of Violence, Lipski, a.k.a. Da Silva. I apologize. As I'm getting allergies in my eyeball here, but yeah, that was a tough one. But I felt like Silva won. But it's tough, man. It's a thin margin of error, especially when you're at this
I felt like
level.
a Silva won, certainly.
One of Da Silva's.
One of Da Silva's won. That's for sure. Oh man. Yeah, no, I feel like Da Silva won, but either way,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
The takedowns, I think that was it. She looked strong. She obviously needs to improve a little bit from the striking. I think she will get better from this. And Lipsky as well. I think she maybe realizes also, hey, there's some tough, strong girls in this division. If I'm going to be relevant, I got to find an answer. I got to just maybe work on that. She knows she can strike really well. So maybe bringing in some more wrestlers, some more grapplers, find ways to get creative or know, hey, if I get stuck in these certain spots, how can I get out of it? You got to find an answer. But that's the name of the game. Strive for perfection. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Always going to root for my girl, Queen of Violence. She's a moneymaker, and it looks like Karina Silva is making herself some money as well here. So sky's the limit for this kid. I don't know what's next. I mean, or in terms of who, I guess it really just boils down to timing, right? I mean, who's available. But frankly, I think anybody in the top 15 can get that smoke. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're definitely not wrong, right? She's sitting heftily at number 13 right now herself in the flyweight division. I think anybody sitting above her can get it, right? They haven't updated the rankings yet. Ariane is still sitting above her at number 12, so I'd imagine they're going to switch places. It'll be 12 and 13. If everyone above her is kind of tied up and you want to give her someone maybe right outside of the rankings, I don't know. Maybe you give her Jasmine. I think that might be a fun fight to make. Otherwise, if you want to give her someone that is ranked above her, I think a Tracy Cortez, maybe a Vivian Araujo would be a really, really fun fight.
I like both of those. I like Tracy Cortez, man. She hasn't been in there in a while. She's a really good grappler, good wrestler as well.
She had to pull out of her last fight, right? She had the medical complications.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, then
we thought she was pregnant, but I don't think they ever actually explained what it was.
Oh, jeez.
But she's not pregnant now, so I don't know. Like that was what everyone was thinking. Has she fought since then? Since the canceled bout? I forget.
No.
Let me look that up real quick.
Not since her last win, I believe, back in...
Oh, no, she has fought since then. Yeah, she had a win over Jasmine Jazdavicius.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's who she beat. Speaking of the devil.
Yeah, she beat Jasmine. And yeah, great time. Speak of the devil, guys. Before that, she was supposed to fight Amanda Hebos. That's the one that got canceled. And that was back in 2022 in December. So, yeah, I think either Tracy Cortez or Jasmine would be a really, really good matchup for her. Why the hell not? Why the hell not, Nano?
I ain't got a good reason. Why not?
And just because we really like Ariane on this podcast, I mean, obviously I've already got my shot board for her as well because that's who I bet on. I wouldn't mind playing a little matchmaker for her. Call me crazy, but I think another good matchup for her might be either Miranda Maverick or Jasmine. I don't know what you think about that.
I like them both. I think whatever timeline makes sense. Who knows about Tracy's health? So if that's an asterisk, then maybe it's Jasmine.
Yes, it was just. I need to get more sound clips of fighters saying difficult to say names, saying their own difficult to say names. Yeah. I think that'll be a fun little setup to have. I have to make a whole soundboard page of just those.
That'd be fun. There's some good.
I have two of the Yazidavicius ones.
It's actually Yasidavicius, but Yasidavicius, Jazdavicius, whatever.
That's a good one. Whatever.
She was correcting the schmo. Shout out to the schmo on that one. And cheers to Ariane's on this one.
Oh,
you already know, baby. You already know. Baby. Boom.
Ooh-wee.
And if you drink, do a shot. If you don't, do a shot of water. Stay hydrated. We love you guys and gals and everything in between. As long as you appreciate us, we appreciate you. And if you appreciate mixed martial arts and you don't appreciate us, well, we still appreciate you. We love that you appreciate the mixed martial arts. And if you appreciate us and you don't appreciate mixed martial arts like Plush Box Streaming, we appreciate the hell out of you as well. You're a special breed, and we fucking love that. Because you're willing to go outside of your normal box and, give other folks a chance. We love that. Speaking of things we love, Bogdan Guskov. That's something we love. My goodness. Coming in against Ryan Superman Spann. Woo-wee! If I am Bogdan, I'm changing my nickname to Kryptonite. Because he shut Superman down, folks. It was bad. Oh, turn that off. Turn that wrong. That's Marvel. Yeah. So he shut him down. Kryptonite.
Love that theme though. I mean, that's top of mind everywhere. So
I can't wait till Wednesday, baby. Can't wait till Wednesday. Sheesh. You're gonna be watching at the resort.
I know. I was just thinking about that. I hope they have it out there. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, brother. Yeah, dude. This fight was very weird for as long as it lasted. Ryan Spann landed how many nut shots? 2, right? In the first round?
One's too many. This guy. Yeah,
I mean,
think so.
dude.
You hate to see
The first one he landed and he was like, "Oh yeah, all right, I landed one." And then the next one he like tried to say he didn't, and the ref was like, Herb Dean was like, "I heard you hit the cup. Like I heard the sound. I literally heard Herb go, I heard the sound. Move."
I heard it. Get back.
Like, bro, I seen it. I was watching, dog. What the fuck?
I synced it. I synced
The fuck you mean it didn't hit the cup, bro? It definitely hit the cup. You heard the sound. It was disturbing. But man, Bogdan. I'm still waiting for the day that we see him and Anthony Smith in the same room together because I'm not convinced that they're not the same guy. I just think that they have a really good makeup artist. They're putting a lot of cover up on him and hiding some tattoos. Truly though, I feel like someone cloned Anthony Smith, but gave him a different skill set as a fighter in the tube, and also didn't give him the tattoos, which would make sense because he's a clone, right? He's not born with the tattoos. Bogdan, other than talking about jokes here and the fact that he looks just like Anthony Smith, what else is there to say other than the fact that this guy hits really hard? Like really hard, Nano. 49 strikes landed, 31 considered significant, and it only really took 1 or 2 to put the man away. And you could tell when he really started throwing with heat, right? He was feeling him out. It was a fast feeling out process in that first round. Round 2, he came out hot. Okay? 3 of his fucking 31 significant strikes, Nano, were in the first round. Only 3 of them were in the first round. I'm not sure if you knew that stat. But Jesus, bro. 28 of 40 strikes thrown. Or sorry. 28 of 40 strikes were landed. And also 28 of 40 strikes thrown and landed were considered significant. The man did not throw a lackluster strike. So like that's what's just fucking crazy to me. Okay. In the first round, it's not like he was throwing super low volume. He only threw 7 less strikes in the first round. He was just throwing with less heat. He was filling out. He was letting his opponent go. Letting his opponent kick him in the fucking nuts. But man, once he woke up and got moving, once he really got going, it was bad news bears, brother, for Superman. Yeah, I mean, Bogdan looked like a young Metallo in there, like a young Lex Luthor. He had the kryptonite. He had the rocks that'll knock your socks off. You know what I'm saying? He had the green that'll make you scream. He had the space rock that'll make your face rock. Bro, it was bad. It was bad. Bogdan was coming in on a mission. It was bad, dude. I love to see it though. I like Superman Spann. I think he's a fun fighter. I think he's a good fighter. But I also said it before. He's a slow starter. And I almost feel like him kicking the nuts of his opponents and having the breaks that he had let him have an excuse to start even slower across the distance or across those first 2 rounds. And he paid for it. And Bogdan's not someone you want to give a chance to open up and find his range and distance, because once he does, the power's there, man. It's scary. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this up-and-coming guy, Bogdan, and if you think that he deserves a real, like, true top 10 opponent now.
I do, man. I do. I think my only question mark going into this, and if you hear our receipts last week in the previous episode, you would have known that I just had to see it with a legit light heavyweight that is ranked, that we know of, that has some namesake value on a big stage. That's the only thing, because, again, you see the record. And we've talked about earlier, some people can come into the UFC with a ton of records, a ton of knockouts, be this freaking vicious, bad mofo. But hey, then you get in the octagon with other dudes that are equally bad mofos in their neck of the woods as well. So I just had to see it, and boy, did we get it, right? Now, it was not easy. Now, he did have to weather that storm, that early, weird first round where, yeah, not a lot of power punches, maybe trying to get a feel for it. And Ryan Spann's a tough son of a gun as well. He's ranked for a reason, even though he was coming off a couple losses. His IQ's not the best either. I'd say, like, he finds himself in these weird situations in fights, and this was one of them. He was so freaking close, got to a favorable position, flattened out Bogdan, was on top of him, damn near had the choke. Matty Betts was watching, and then Bad Beat City didn't get it. And then, as always, man, like, it's a story as old as time. If you don't get it that first time, odds are you're not going to like the results the second time around because you're going to be on the receiving end, unfortunately. Jalen Turner had to learn this lesson a couple weeks ago in UFC 300. And our boy Ryan Spann had to learn it this past Saturday. Again, Bogdan's no joke, man. I mean, this guy can carry his power into the later rounds like we saw after getting taken down and having this dude lay on top of you. Like, to still have your endurance, to still have the energy to go out there and put out a Ryan Spann like that. What are we talking about? This dude's a beast, man. And you know what? And I think you were a little discriminatory to bald guys, okay? To bald guys with no eyebrows and no tattoos, okay? They don't all look the same, all right? Dana Ryan, Joe Rogan got the same treatment, okay? Just because all bald people, give them some respect, man. That might be me pretty soon, all right? But all jokes aside, man.
My fucking guy.
Don't be hating on those bald guys, man. Okay, they're different. They have
if it makes you feel any better, I think you'd be a very strapping bald man.
Thank you. The beard would help a little bit. I guess I wouldn't get the same.
I
don't have any tats.
You'd be there, bro. You'd be there.
But hey, if someone accidentally, thought I was Bogdan Gustav walking down the street, I would not be mad. I would gladly take that. I'd say, you better walk away. Give me your lunch money.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, the things that I'm saying on this podcast, I would always be willing to say to their face. I'm not one of those faceless Twitter accounts. Like, I have my face, even though it's like AI, it looks just fucking like me. That's my picture. I also post videos and pictures of myself on my Twitter as well. And as we speak, as you were doing your breakdown, I literally am about to tweet. And I was trying to tag Anthony Smith, who's untaggable on Twitter, and I was looking for Bogdan Guskov, who I can't find a Twitter for.
Oh, no.
I'm literally posting a picture of both these guys and saying, is Anthony Smith versus Bogdan Guskov the next fight to make? And in parentheses, I'm saying I just want to see them in the same room to confirm they aren't the same guy.
But it does make sense.
So, folks, can we get some retweets on that? Because I think it makes sense.
I mean, especially if the rankings don't change. Oh, they haven't updated yet, but if Ryan Spann gets removed from that 11th spot and Bogdan gets inserted, our boy Anthony Lionheart Smith, a.k.a. Doppelganger City, here is 10. They're just about as close as they can be in the rankings. They look just about as close as they can in real life.
Come on, guys.
It is just the tattoos. I guess that's obviously...
It's just the tattoos.
But the shape of their head... It's just the shape of the head. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. It's the same.
Well,
picture.
I know who won't be sponsoring that fight, and that's probably
Anthony Smith.
No, I was gonna say Head and Shoulders is not gonna be sponsoring that fight. Don't worry, Gillette will be heavy.
Sponsored by Gillette. He says sponsored by Gillette. Oh my
Don't worry, they'll make up for that video.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I gotta stop.
Sponsored by Harry's Shave Club, Gillette. And make sure that you pick up the Lawnmower 3.0 by Manscaped.
Look at this. No nicks and crannies. Imagine the undercarriage. Get the Lawnmower 4.0. Not a single nick.
Oh my gosh. Dude, so good. Oh man,
we gotta
sponsored by Gillette. Oh my gosh.
That's
dude.
what that last clip was sponsored by for sure.
Everyone who buys this pay-per-view gets a complimentary Mach 5 razor.
and a barber
Other sponsors
saw.
include Mr. Clean.
It's a barbershop if you sign up for the emails.
For those of you that have watched Dune, this is also brought to you in part by the Harkonnens.
Cue it, Austin Butler. Bogdan, no joke.
Oh, brought to you by the Harkonnens, you guys. Oh, man. Oh, gosh.
That might be his middle name.
You know, it would actually roll. Bogdan Harkonnen Guskov. I mean, I would fucking buy it. That dude sounds like a great fighter. He sounds like a champion.
Get him in Dune 3. Let's go.
Get him in Dune 3 and also as the co-main event on the upcoming Fury fight card. Oh man. Okay, guys. We've obviously gone off on a little bit of a tangent here. So I'm like, all jokes aside, I do think Anthony Smith is the best next matchup.
That makes sense. Okay, I want to see it now. Like
Ryan Smith is one ranking below Anthony Smith, so like it literally makes logical sense.
Oh no, you know he's fighting actually this upcoming
Anthony
weekend?
Smith has a fight, yeah.
Petrino. Yikes.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I guess we'll see if he survives that. That'd be a fun one.
Would.
And then another ball guy, Ozdemir.
Anthony Harkonnen Smith, fighting his brother cousin Bogdan Harkonnen Guskov. No, dude, like all jokes aside, both those guys are fantastic. But
there's a lot of Baldies.
but like those other guys don't look just like him. Like Anthony Smith and Guskov, literally, like, dude, they look too much alike. Like it's scary how much they look alike.
It's uncanny.
ADHD MMA, what up, brother? Vegas 91 was dope, fire. Watch every card. I don't care if it's Turtles versus Rabbit as the main event. I do, bro. I already know how that one goes. The Rabbit's gonna fucking lose, bro. But I'm still gonna put a unit on him and lose that unit.
But I'll hedge.
I'll hedge. I'll bet against the Rabbit. I don't care if it's a tale as old as time, bro. Call me the Beauty and the Beast. No, I thought Vegas 91 was dope. I thought it was a really fun card, especially considering like how watered down and not fun it was supposed to be. It was a fun watch, bro. I definitely enjoyed it. Now we got to talk about the main event.
It's time!
You guys, you gals, you folks, you fight fans. Mateos Nicolau was supposed to come in here. He's supposed to steamroll through Alex Perez. Alex Perez. You know how long it's been since this guy's got a win, Nanokin? It's been 4 years. If you ask the chick from Titanic, she'd be like, it's been 85 years.
Or if you
The
ask
jokes
Charlie
are coming in hot tonight, bro.
If you ask Charlie Puth, it's been a long time. Oh, no,
Since he got a win. But I'll tell you all about it when we see it again. Oh, man.
But hey, Alex Perez has come a long way.
He really has. And I agree, ADHD MMA. ADHD MMA. I don't know why I like drug those words, those letters together. MMA fans just love complaining no matter what. Who's on the card? LMAO. Have a great show, boys. We definitely will now that you're here, man. We appreciate you being here, my guy. And make sure that you give that guy a follow on Twitter. He is Young Boy Never Roof Again. And he is definitely one of my favorite folks to chat with on Twitter. He's a great dude. So, you guys, this fight was supposed to be one-way traffic. It was supposed to be the Mateos Nicolau show. I mean, come on, guys. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know. Bro, what are we supposed to say here? What are we supposed to say here? I think we both had a shot on Nicolau, so we'll do that at some point. But no, dude. As you're pouring that up, I want you to start thinking ahead of time here. Did you think that Alex Perez had that one-shot power in him? I mean, we joked about the fact that he's got a puncher's chance. I think we even said that, but
everyone does, right? But no, I didn't, brother.
Boy, I didn't think in such a literal sense.
No, man. For our lack of better judgment, man, didn't see that coming at all. And Alex Perez is a dog. You definitely aren't a fan of your boy. He's fine out of Lamar Cali. He's got that Cali dog in him. Should have known. But yeah, man, I think the reality was this is someone that has been around the UFC for a long time, right? And he's been on some long win streaks. Lost to Joseph Benavidez, who was a dog. And then so to answer your question, I didn't think he'd be able to get the knockout because his last knockout was a win over Jussier Formiga to leg kicks, not even on the chin, not even with his hands. A leg kick TKO win back in June of 2020, ladies and gentlemen. So this was in the heat of COVID. Think about how long ago that was. I mean, yeah. And then to lose 3 times after that. Now, granted, when you look at the names, it makes sense, right? And this is what happens when you fight the best of the best. You just aren't. It's a small margin of error. Just aren't always going to get them over. Be on the right end of victory there, but I just what happened? And honestly, the more I think about it, I don't know how much of it was is Alex Perez he's just that guy? Is he truly what am I missing? And honestly, the more I think about it, because Nikolai, he did just get recently KO'd as well by our boy Brandon Royval. I wonder if he was maybe in the wrong division, brother. He's not the biggest guy, but if you're gonna keep getting chinned like that. I mean, Alex Perez is not a knockout artist by any means. Let's quickly look here. He has 6 out of his 25 victories. I guess that is pretty solid, but he has more submissions. So you could argue he's technically more of a submission guy. What were your thoughts? Did you see that? I did not see that. And the one-punch KO, it wasn't you heard him and you just got on top of him and you pulped him you beat him into a
There was no follow-up needed, man. There was no punches and bunches needed. It was a one and done.
Truly.
I mean, the thing is this, right? If you look at, and I know MMA math doesn't work, doesn't pan out, right? But as you said, you wouldn't think that Alex Perez is a KO specialist, right? He just got his 6th professional knockout and he already had 7 submission wins. But because you're suspecting and expecting either a decision win, because he has 12 of those, or a submission, so either a grindy win via wrestling and jiu-jitsu or a submission win, you're not really expecting the knockout. You're not looking for it. And when you're somebody like Mateus Nicolau, now I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here, Nano. He's never been submitted. He's also never gone to a decision that hasn't gone in his favor. But you know what he has been? He's been knocked out 4 times. This was the 4th time. So the only 3 times he's ever lost before then were by way of knockout. And he was also just coming off of a knockout from Brandon Royval. Now, I've used this analogy before, and I'll use it again and again and again. Whether you're new or old, returning somewhere in between, I'm sure you'll hear it again. The jaw and the jaw lining specifically, right? And if you're not an MMA person, if you haven't trained, do me a favor. Take a finger or 2, put it into your jaw lining here, and either here or here, just push really hard. And ow, I actually made mine click. Push maybe too hard. So it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Don't push that hard. It doesn't feel good when you do that. And essentially, when someone's landing a hard shot, they're too stronger. This is a good example. Here we go. This is a better example. They're two stronger knuckles. You can see these are much larger than these two. They want to land those either here and push down on that, so that way they separate that jaw lining, or here and push into that. That way they just push it in and it also clicks and separates. So when you're eating those shots, right, it's throwing off your equilibrium. And more than anything, this is the point of the analogy. It's very comparable to a milk jug. You take a milk jug out of the fridge, you make your coffee, you pour your milk in there as a creamer, and you forget about it because it's early. It's 6 a.m., you're getting to work, whatever the case may be. If you forget it for 30 minutes, that sucks. You're maybe taking like a couple of hours, maybe a half a day off that expiration date. If you forget it for an hour, you've taken a day off of it. You forget it for 2 hours, you've taken 2 days off of it. The max shelf life, I know because I worked for fucking 12 years in food service industry, the max duration you can keep something out of refrigeration for the most part across the board is 3 to 4 hours. Now, with your chin, each one of those punches, it's like leaving it outside of the fridge for minutes to hours. And each knockout, that's definitely an hour clocked off that fucking expiration date. if you come back quickly right after a knockout, you are just simply far more susceptible to being knocked out. He just got knocked out exactly a year ago. So now he's been knocked out twice within 12 months. The guy needs to take time off. The expiration date on that milk carton has now exponentially gone down. Just poof. It's gone. He's not getting it back. So take your time, Mateus Nicolau. You're in no rush. Granted, like, you're not the youngest man in the world. You're also not the oldest man in the world, right? 31 years of age. You're just now entering your fight prime. It would be a shame if you entered your fight prime with an expired milk carton. Don't do that. Milk is a bad choice. And if you're Alex Perez, I mean, you essentially just cashed the fucking lottery check. Guy came out there and made it look easy against someone he wasn't even supposed to beat. And it wasn't left hook Larry, it was right hook Ricky. You know what I'm saying? They're brother cousins. They're homies. And sometimes they both show up on the same fucking card to ruin two other women's night. And that happened. You'll love to see it. Dude. No Diddy. This fight excited me way too much.
I like your hip vernacular here with the culture. I like it.
It's sticking, just like the charges.
Facts. So I'm sure a lot of things were, unfortunately. But yeah, brother, I mean, to your point, man, I mean, yeah, Alex Perez, someone that wasn't even supposed to be here, man. Got it done.
Supposed to be here.
Absolutely in phenomenal fashion. And when you look at the landscape of this flyweight division, right, we're going to be talking about it soon, so stay tuned. But Alexander Pantoja, the current champ, is fighting the 10th. Is it 10th ranked? No, I think I read that wrong. No, he is number 10. Steve Ursig is ranked 10th. He's fighting for the championship this upcoming Saturday, y'all. So you want to talk about an open door. You want to talk about a flyweight division that has open real estate. I mean, look no further. Alex Perez put himself right into title contention. That's how serious, that's how big of a jump he just made. And we could even look at just brass tacks. He's currently ranked 8th. Matias Nicolai is ranked 5th. Let's just go ahead and give him the old swap-a-rooney. Makes sense. Fair enough. Hey, now Alex Perez is sitting at 5. Who's ahead of him now? Maybe a Kai Kara France, I suppose. I'd love Kai Kara France. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Two dogs getting in there. Could potentially be on the main event. And he's coming off a loss against Amir Albazi back in June 2023. And he hasn't fought since. So Kai, man, I mean, since June of 2023, it's almost a year coming up now. Love to see him get back in. Not sure what's going on. But maybe an Alex Perez and Kai squaring off there, 4 versus 5. We know Brandon Moreno, I think I actually already mentioned that he's going to be taking some time away from the UFC to seek mental health and to recover, things like that, which breaks my heart a little bit to hear, but hopefully he can do what he needs to do and, send in positivity and prayers towards him and his family. But if he's, if number 2 is not really there right now, I mean, okay, Brandon Royval already lost to the champ. If the champ goes out there and does what he should do against a Steve Ursig, then, yeah, who's next? Amir, maybe, with no real test or no real way to say, hey, yeah, I beat Kai Kara France, but is that your ticket to the title? I don't think so. So maybe Amir or 2. But again, Alex is right in that conversation, and there's only 2 or 3, maybe 4 people that can fight for a title next. And he's right there now. So congrats, Alex, man. Someone that was on a big streak, that was kind of at this place previously in his career, to get back here again at the ripe age of, how old is he? Oh man, my screen just went blank, but he's old enough to know that that his days are numbered, and that his prime is probably more so behind him than it is in front of him. Again, he's been fighting for a long time here. Debuted in the UFC back in 2017. He's actually 32 years old, so he's not that old. Actually just in his prime, which maybe that makes sense. Maybe he's finally filling out. Again, brother, those are some of the names I have. I think Kai Kara France, just because he's been the least active, maybe he'd be willing to sign a contract sooner. And those are 2 guys that I've seen that are staples in the division. But what do you think, brother? Do you agree that should fight one of those guys, or should he maybe just wait and wait for Alexander Pantoja to maybe call him out this Saturday?
Well, I don't think Pantoja is going to call him out because I think Pantoja is going to lose. I think I think Ursic's going to take the belt all the way back to Dunder Mifflin, baby.
Whoa, okay.
Call me crazy guy. Call me crazy guy.
Then anything can happen then.
You know what I'm saying? I think, again, dude, just call me crazy here. I think I am just a bit of a crazy guy. I think that this is going to be a bit of a barn burner, as we say. And I think Ursig, if he's able to put Matt Schnell out with one punch knockout power like that, he's going to be able to do the same thing to Pantoja. Call me crazy. I think he's going to print cash for the UFC the same way he prints paper for Dunder Mifflin. I keep making these jokes because if you don't know what he looks a lot like Steve Carell from The Office. Does Steve Ursig. Now, with that being said, yes, I think he waits. I think he should wait for the call out, or not the call out. I don't think anybody's going to call him out. But I think if I'm him, I'm waiting and then I'm calling them out all across Twitter because that is what makes sense. You just had the biggest win of your career. You weren't supposed to even be there. You definitely weren't supposed to get the win. They were setting you up to fall, and instead you stood tall. We love to fucking see it. And, you know, as a result, you should definitely get paid out for it, bro. You should get what you're owed for that as a result. And with that being said, we do have a little bit of breaking news, guys. So you guys, gals, folks, everybody, fight fans, we have some breaking news. That's right. The odds were just now officially released on DraftKings Sportsbooks. The odds to Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Oh boy. I also have some news here. No headgear. Sanctioned fight. Sanctioned fight. There will be judges. There will be a winner. Knockouts allowed. 14-ounce gloves, not 16-ounce gloves. 8 2-minute rounds. And the odds on release, you can check it here. You can check the record. Jake Paul, minus 185 favorite. Mike Tyson, plus 140 dog. You're muted.
It's actually a little closer. My bad, thank you. It's actually a little closer
muted.
than I thought. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Speak up.
Where's he at?
Louder, partner. Thank you, brother. But yeah, no, that's a little tighter than I thought it would be, no?
It's pretty tight. It's pretty damn tight there, man. Pretty damn tight.
Dude, I was just watching some Mike Tyson highlights late last night before I went to bed. This guy was a beast. Dude's a beast.
Mike Tyson.
You know who else was a beast,
Jack
though?
Dempsey.
Julian Jackson, bro.
Julian Jackson. I don't know.
Bro.
I'm not gonna lie and say I know that name.
No, I only knew about it just from going on TikTok and Joe Rogan's talking about it.
Oh, he's an older boxer. Hell yeah, dude. I'm going to check him out tonight.
One of the hardest punches of all time, dude. One punch power. This guy had it, bro. Beast.
Have you ever looked up old highlights of Jack Dempsey?
Jack Demps? Not in a long time, man. I'm definitely familiar. I mean, that's like OG, right? Black and white.
He's the guy, dude.
JD.
Jack Dempsey. I've never realized he has the initials JD, dude. That's what everybody called my dad growing up. How weird.
Oh, shoot. Well, there you go.
The fact that that's one of my favorite boxers. That's so weird, actually. Holy
That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. He was nasty. Also, another one of my favorites is Sugar Ray. And I'm not talking about Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ooh.
I do like Sugar Ray Leonard as well. But have you ever watched Sugar Ray Robinson like highlights?
Not in a long time, man. No, or maybe not even. I'd have to go back.
He actually died on my actual birthday.
Oh,
like
no way.
the day I was born. And he's in my top 3 boxers of all time. April 12th. The year I was born. Yeah, I swear.
Everything, yeah. Oh, wow. Jeez.
Like literally, yeah. I wonder if like the time is available. If he died the same time I was born, that would be insane. Anyways, Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the greatest boxers of all time. Definitely check this guy out. If you're a fan of martial arts at all and you haven't seen this guy box, folks, do yourself a favor. One of the best hooks you'll ever see. Just the power he was able to generate from the angles he was able to generate it from. You'll look and you'll be like, If this wasn't shot in 1942, I would think it was CGI. Like the way he drops bodies, you're like, this is like something from a music video or a horror film. This doesn't look real. But he just drops them like bricks. Like bricks. The way that Mike Perry drops people in bare knuckle. Speaking of which, we have our last shot to do for that main event. We were wrong. Alex Perez was right. What a guy. What a guy.
Man, what a finish. What a performance. And what a night. Cheers, y'all. Thank y'all for being here.
Now, that begs the question. Now that we have odds on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, who are you siding with here? Are you going to bet a little bit of squirrel on this one? Or?
Well, you know we like our underdogs around here, so I'll definitely be going for the underdog, Mike Tyson.
Technical difficulties. There we go. We're back. We're back. What's going on right now? Are we here? Are we here?
Oh, can you hear me? What
I
happened?
hear you. I can hear you. You're back. You're back.
Okay.
We're back.
Jeez, I'm sorry. I don't know
Jeez
what happened. A
Louise.
little technical glitch
I don't know.
there.
Little technical difficulties.
I think DraftKings is listening to us. They don't want us to give y'all the
They don't want us giving you the goods.
They don't want us to win, y'all. I apologize.
And Amazon also must want me to buy like a 50-foot wired Ethernet cord, so that way I don't use Wi-Fi.
Same here.
The next step.
I think they want me to build a data center in here as well. But yeah, man, I do think that I'm going with underdog. You know, Liz. How you gonna bet against Mike Tyson, man? Come on,
do it.
I'll gladly lose any
it.
and all units that I probably will end up putting on that for sure. And you know what? Like, we'll have fun with it. Maybe we'll go over on the knockdowns if they have them. Maybe we'll try to choose around, get a little crafty, but I'm all for it, man. Realistically, I mean, it's gonna. I don't know. I gotta wait till I see some of the footage leading up to it and how he looks. But I mean, man, anything can happen. That motherfucker could put anyone out.
I'll tell you, bro. Last full boxing match that Mary watched through and through was Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano 1, and me and Mare both agreed that we thought Amanda Serrano actually won. We thought that girl was spicier than a Serrano pepper. You know what I'm saying? She was getting it done in there.
Those are good.
Those are great. They're great peppers. Very great to cook with. I like Katie Taylor as much as the next guy, unless the next guy is Ian Miller, because he fucking loves that chick. But I digress. I do think Katie Taylor's fantastic, but I thought she lost that first fight. And because of that, you can get her right now at minus 155 odds. I think Amanda Serrano gets this done. I think she's been the more active fighter. I think she's been the better looking fighter and fought the better talent coming up as well in between their first and second match. Plus 125 paired with plus 140. My guy Nano, Jive Turkey. Gobble, gobble, baby. I think it might be time to do a little two-leg parlay. That'd get us at plus 440. I'm thinking I might hammer 2 units on that one. I don't know.
I reckon we do. I like it.
Now, the question is, that fight isn't until July 20th. Okay, so right now it is April 29th. We still have 2.5 months, 2 and 3/4 months before this actually takes place. Now, my question to you, Nano, is, and I know that we're new to this whole capping game, right? Unless we're talking Captain America. Been doing that for years, baby. You can see in the back. But we are new to the capping game as far as betting goes. So, now that begs the question, do we wait and see how these odds change? Do we wait and see how these odds pan out? Because these are opening odds. Do we think that they shift further into Mike Tyson's favor? Do we think they shift further into Katie Taylor's favor? Do we think that they shift further into Jake Paul's favor? Because obviously, if we're taking the dogs in both of these,
yeah.
If the pendulum swings in the right way, we could bank a lot more. We could stand to bank a lot more. Or
yeah,
do we do like maybe a half unit right off the bat? And then if the odds stay, we put the other, 1.5 units on it. And if the pendulum swings, maybe we put another 2 units on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever done that before. Granted, not a lot of times we're looking like months in advance. This is obviously a unique case, but sometimes that's how boxing rolls. You know, it's interesting. So what I do know in regards to how Vegas will do their draft lines, it will be based around where the money's coming in, and they want to set the odds so where people will bet on both sides of the spectrum there. And so this coming out where it is, I think it's close because they don't want to just necessarily hand out a ton of free money, but they do obviously see Jake Paul as the favorite. So I do think if most people are probably thinking what I'm thinking and that Jake Paul should win on paper, that's where the money's going to go to start. And once that money starts trickling in, I do think Vegas will be hard pressed not to increase the line for Mike Tyson to attract guys like my dad, guys like me, the boxing OGs, or just someone that's already riding him anyways. I see that climb to anything. And you know what's interesting though too, I will admit that Vegas just got housed by Ryan Garcia at plus 550 odds, right? So I think they're gonna probably be a little bit they're gonna reconsider going so crazy on the odds, okay? So
let's go.
That was awesome, and we are benefitters here, aka MMAnomaly, the one and only.
Your boy had to bank on that. I'm telling you, the moment I knew he was trolling was after the last stare down. Mm-hmm. When Devin Haney stared into the cameras and looked angry, and Ryan Garcia shadow boxed and looked faster than greased lightning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even the beer, I did think like that was a gimmick too. I was like, there's no way he's actually doing that. And then it came out it was a real. I'm like, that confirmed the gimmick for me. Should have put my mortgage on that on Ryan Garcia like he did. But yeah, no, again, man, I think Vegas will be a little bit tighter with these odds, but I do see it going up in our favor if we're leaning Tyson. So we can monitor it, keep our eyes on it, but it will go where the money goes. So if the odds shift, you know that's where the money's going. Or that's where they want the money to go, I should say.
We go where the money goes, or rather the money goes where we go. I think I can't even do a half unit on it. I'm going to do a full unit on it right now. I'm going to do Amanda Serrano, Mike Tyson, double leg parlay, plus 125, plus 140, pairing them together, getting the plus 440 odds. To put it into perspective, guys, one unit would net you 5.4. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're putting in one. We're going to get the 5.4 on that. And we're going to place that sooner rather than later. So we lock in these odds. And then also what this will do is this will also allow us to really know a true state of what happens to these odds. You know, there are definitely people that do a really good job of posting kind of what these odds look like when they first come out versus when they close. And there's also a lot of guys like Cap MMA that will post it on the websites that they run. But again, this is us being as candid and clear as we possibly can for you guys. We're trying to show you that, this is how we do. So keeping it real. There's also another big boxing fight coming up. We got Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin coming up Saturday, June 15th. I think that's another fun one. But again, I think Gervonta takes it. So we won't do any crazy betting on this one. As far as other betting that does possibly make sense before we call it a night and before we do a quick recap of this Mike Perry fight, Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal also has live betting odds right now for DraftKings Sportsbooks. Have you looked at those at all or not?
I haven't, dude. I don't have a lot of interest in it, to be honest, bro. I'll probably try to tune in, but I mean, dude, we saw.
I don't have a lot of interest in it either.
Yeah, we saw Nate get pieced up by our boy Jorge. But as a curious fan, like I'd love to say I watched it. You know, I'd love to be a part of the conversation, but I'm probably not gonna pay for it. So if I happen to walk by a TV and it's on, I will be happy. Yes, or that too.
We'll stream it. I will pay for every UFC pay-per-view, but there are so many boxing ones where I just won't because like
it's not worth it.
I mean, it's not worth it. We're
the Gervonta Davis one might be pretty solid though, because I think they added.
So there's like 3 good fights on that card.
Did they add our Pitbull to that one, or is there a different one? There's one that they announced where the co-main event was pretty solid as well.
Let's see. I'll tell you what it is right now. Tapology has the full card. You gotta fucking love Tapology, bro. They're literally the best. I love this website so much. All right. Davis versus Martin. Oh, yeah. We got Benavidez versus Gavoldik. So those are the only 2 fights that they have actually confirmed on Tapology right now. So we have Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin and David Benavidez versus Alexander Gvozdyk. 28-0 versus 20-1 and 29-0 versus 18-0. So a lot of really, really promising boxing prospects here. The only reason I asked, like, do you think that this goes differently in boxing is because obviously, like, Nate Diaz is a plus 205 underdog. Jorge Masvidal is a minus 265 favorite. If you really think that it's like guaranteed money, we could parlay Jorge with some folks.
Yeah, I mean, we could. I mean, I do think Jorge should. Nothing's guaranteed, especially in betting. We should maybe be super clear about that for sure. But yeah.
Only bet what you can actually afford to lose. Only play with house money, so to speak, not your house mortgage money. All right.
There's never
only bet what you can afford to lose. There's never a guarantee. And in martial arts and boxing, it is the most volatile betting sport in the world, guys. Like, the only reason we are up units right now is because we are lucky. Make no mistake about it. We are not going to pretend that we're the fucking best.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I'm just a Jive Turkey talking my shit. But yeah, man, I do think that Jorge should win. Like, even like mixed martial arts aside, like, I just feel like, unfortunately, Jorge just has better hands than our boy Nate. Like, Nate's scrappy, he's durable, like, he, you know, is unorthodox, and he can put some mitts on you, but he's better when he can do everything. If it's just boxing, like just throwing fisticuffs, Jorge's got some pretty good hands, man. Like, he can piece them up with some of the best, even bare knuckle. So, yeah, give me Jorge for sure. But
I like Jorge in this one as well, and that's what I'm saying is, like, I don't think that it's crazy odds. While we're on the topic of boxing, I don't know how you feel about Dmitry Bivol, one of the better boxers of our time, and Arthur Beterbiev. Like, that fight's happening the same day as Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. What a dumbass fucking situation.
Yeah, how did that happen? Jeez.
That's why Nate Diaz, I think he checked on his phone. He realized, like, we're fighting the same day as these guys. What the fuck? This fight is stupid, bro. Stockton, motherfucker. I'm out of here. You stare down against yourself, dog.
Oh, that's when he did that. So, yeah, like, I mean, if anything, maybe I would tune into that over watching Jorge, and I'll just watch the highlights or something, but...
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to see a really good boxing match, that's a fucking banger. And those are literally even pick'em odds, minus 110 versus minus 110. That's why I brought it up. I'm curious to hear, like, do you have a dog in that race? Do you think, like, do you have one over the other?
Man, off the rip, probably not. I mean, obviously, Dimitri beat Canelo, so I'll probably just default there, but... I'm not too familiar with Arthur's game, and especially, like, in terms of breaking it down how we like to, you know. We're used to going long-winded form here. I don't have an answer prepared, but Dimitri beat Canelo.
Folks listening, I'm literally putting him on blast here. I'm putting him on the spot. Didn't give him any chance to prepare for this, and this fight is also like 2 months from now. So
true.
Yeah,
so we'll
definitely just putting him on blast here. We are going to dive into this. Make no mistake about it.
But yeah, I do think, I mean, dude, if you could beat Canelo, like, you've earned my respect. So that gives me the nod right away. But maybe after film breakdown, if I see some holes from a boxing perspective in the games, then I'll certainly address that. But got to go with my boy Dimitri here for now. And like you said, he is one of the best boxers we've had in our time, especially with the win over Canelo. Come on. How do you argue that?
I mean, the only way that I argue with that is the fact that Arthur Beterbiev, he has a 1-inch reach advantage and has 20 fights, which I know is 2 less than our boy Bivol, but he also has 9 more KOs than Bivol. That's right, folks. 20 fights, 20 knockouts. Every single fight he's ever had in boxing, he has finished. That's fucking terrifying. He's like, basically, you could put sock'em bop'ems on his hand and he'll fuck your shit up. That guy is literally a finisher through and through. I just think this one's going to be fireworks through and through, guys. There's no way around it. So we're definitely going to cover that one in ad nauseum in the future. But before we call it a wrap, before we wrap up the show here, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about Mike Platinum Perry. Oh, man. Mike Platinum Perry. Did you see that fight?
I just saw the highlights, bro, but it wasn't really that long, right? I mean, I guess what the highlight was basically the fight.
If you saw the highlights, then you saw the fight. It didn't last very long, my guy.
Not much, man. Not much. I mean, but that's bare knuckle. That's kind of why you love it, too, because it's like every shot is so freaking critical to your life and to your face. And, yeah, man, I mean, was loving the hype, but, man, Mike Platinum Perry's on top of the world. And I don't know who could go in there and beat him in that kind of, like, rule set and skill set. Like, he's built perfectly for that. He is the king of violence for a reason. I know he's talking shit to Darren Till. And I love Darren Till, but I don't think I want to see
need to have a
Darren
spa.
Till get slotted. Yeah.
Still one of the best videos of all time. A spa? I thought you said spa. You want to go to the spa?
Like the spa. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he's a dog. I don't know if there's anything that impressed you specifically, but I mean, it's just like, and I don't even know why Thiago took that fight, man. I mean, he was a legend in my eyes. Like, I loved him back in the day, but it's like, why you want to go in here and go against this young buck like that? Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 1 minute KO. It was nasty. What else is there to say other than the fact that Platinum wasted 0 time rushing in on Alves and just putting in that fucking work? It took him exactly 1 minute. He busted Pitbull up, landed a huge left hand along the ropes, sent Alves crashing into the canvas, and as we say in the business, that's all she wrote, folks. I mean, what's next for Platinum Mike Perry? Whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, Conor McGregor just announced that he's a partial owner of BKFC. Good for him. Don't know if you listened to Feldman's post presser, but they asked him why that was a good idea to him, why he was so important to have Conor McGregor be a part of BKFC. And his legitimate response was, Conor McGregor is the Midas of our day. Everything he touches turns to gold. I just want to have a piece of that Midas touch. Smart move. What do you think of that marketing play?
I mean, like you said, anything with McGregor's name in a minimum is just going to increase your bottom line 15%. So that's fantastic. And if it actually does help with revenue and potential like increase in production and getting better fights or throwing the bag at some of these special one-off like side quest missions and fighters, then so be it. But it's an interesting move for Conor. I mean, I think he probably sees the growth in that sport and just violence and any sort of combat, mixed martial arts. And with him at the helm, I mean, Conor's the type of guy, I feel like, especially from a business endeavor perspective, where he's going to want to get hands-on. He's going to want to look at the operations. And again, I don't think he could do no wrong. That Midas touch is a real thing, both just as like a branding, as like a global, just like, oh, McGregor, okay. But also from, I think, like an actual production and like operational side of things. I think it'll pay dividends. He's a $1 billion businessman, and he can help grow that bare knuckle business to be that next level as well.
1000% I agree with you. He can definitely help grow the business, right? Now, I know you said you only saw the highlights, obviously, of the Mike Perry fight. There were 2 other fights that were really notable on this card. One of them was in the crowd. It was the Bryce Hall, like, fucking brawl, whatever. The Bryce Hall brawl. That's funny. The Challenge Hall brawl. Jokes aside, though, we're not going to talk about that one. What I did want to talk about real quick, though, is there was a fight on this BKFC card, and it almost felt, I don't know. I don't want to say that it felt like it was a thrown fight, but the aesthetic didn't look great. Todd Duffy coming in against Big Ben Rothwell. Now, I am going to go ahead and pull it up on the screen here. And obviously, before I do that, let me just go ahead and play the quick, we don't fucking own this shit video real quick for everybody. Because as it says, we don't own this shit. So, as that stated, we don't own the rights to this, but, fair use, all that stuff. Now, we are going to go ahead and present this. We're going to cover it real quick. We're going to talk about it. Not ad nauseum, but to an extent. Now, you can see here, boom, Duffy lands, nothing lands. Rothwell pushes him with his left hand, and Duffy waves off the fight. Now, we're going to play it one more time here. Connection, he shoves him down, Duffy waves off the fight. And he almost smiles when he does it, which is very strange. Now, let me get back to the beginning here. So, again, all these rights are belonging to BKFC. Now, I don't like, come on. It's a weird aesthetic.
Did the elbow hit? I don't think I really saw much.
No elbow hits. The gust of wind off the right hand knocked him out. Because the right hand didn't connect either. He stops it.
Right here. Oh, no. That headbutt? Yeah, I don't know what the hell.
The heads didn't connect. Duffy connects his head to the chin.
Play it through all the way one more time. Let's see this thing. Because he didn't hit his head on the back of the canvas, which I thought maybe was that.
No, not at all.
He grabs the back of the head right there, then he goes, oh, no.
But he doesn't hit. He doesn't. There's no connection.
So, boom.
Nothing connects. Shoves. And he waves it off. That was it. And so that was the end of the fight. It's a weird fight because both these guys are UFC tenured. And I would never suspect either one of these guys of throwing a fight, but that's just a very weird aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a strange one, man. It left a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach watching that one play out. I don't know. Todd Duffy has the 5th or 6th fastest knockout in UFC history. That's weird to me. He used to fight at heavyweight in the UFC. He was a never back down too. Dude is all time. It's weird to me, man. I'm curious to get your thoughts on that. What do you think of seeing that play out?
I mean, I'm trying to do research now if anything else came out after. Did Duffy mention anything? Were there any other comments? But
he said he had a stinger in his shoulder.
Per Duffy, his shoulder was injured, from the fall, and he opted not to continue. Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
that's so weird. It just I don't know. It just seemed very strange. One of those
man. Weird, just a weird. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what sucks with fighting in general. And this can happen in the UFC as well. And a lot of times these guys break their hands on an inconspicuous punch, or they just hit the top of some dude's hard ass head or something.
Yeah.
But
as John Anik would say,
you would. But man, I guess I've had shoulder issues. I will admit, coming from a baseball guy, where once you throw it out or once you get that injury, the thought of trying to pick it back up and do anything with it it's obsolete. It's tough. And maybe that was just overbearing pain. He's like, yo, I'm not gonna sit here in front of this guy with one wheel, with one half of the arsenal. So that is just straight frustrating. I mean, even Rothwell didn't feel good about it. It's from some of the comments. It looks like, and how could you, right? I mean, didn't feel like you necessarily earned it, but yeah, free things can happen. Doesn't take much, right? I mean, doesn't take much to roll an ankle. Doesn't take much to have your Achilles blow or tear an ACL, and a lot of times fighters do that, or anything else, man. The body's fragile, and like I said, as you get older, maybe just Duffy, and he's a big son of a gun. Maybe not that flexible. Nothing looked weird about it, but I guess just the wrong movement, wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately. Maybe it's a previous injury. It could be something like that. I mean, again, once you get to a certain age, it doesn't get easier to recover. And you could almost guarantee both of those guys have had certain things broken or surgeries. Come on. So I'm trying to validate it for our boy Todd Duffy because he was an OG. Again, a guy that I used to love playing on the video game and rooted for. And he had a successful acting career as well a little bit. He had his cameos, but not a good outing, man. Not a good last impression of our boy, Mr. Duffy.
Yeah. Definitely not the best last impression of Duffy. It's just a weird one, man. But I think it's safe to say that just like Mike Perry, Ben Rothwell has definitely found his home in bare knuckle boxing. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody else that has just simply mended very, very well into a new sport the way that he has. So with that being said, guys, that is UFC Vegas 91. I'm going to let the turkey get some sleep here. And we are going to be filming another episode tomorrow. We will be uploading it later in the week because me and this guy, we're going to be celebrating his bachelor party a little bit later this week. And, we also don't want to leave you guys hanging when it comes to UFC 301. Oh, we got some fun fights coming up, man. We got Ursig bringing the belt back to Dunder Mifflin, as well as some other bangers on there. You guys, you gals, you folks that love fights, we appreciate every one of you. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new here, if you're old, if you're somewhere in between, do us each a favor. Smash that bell for notifications, like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell again. Why the fuck not, guys? And again, as we like to say on this program, each and every episode, do us a favor. Until the next one, keep on going, keep on growing. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.